My wife gave birth to a black baby, we're both white. And our baby looks just like her best friend. My wife, 30, and I, 31, have been in a happy marriage for 6 years. The reason why I put happy in quotes is because it was all a lie. We have been trying for a child for 3 years now. We tried everything, calendars of her ovulation, different positions, fertility treatments, etc. When I went to the doctor, they said my sperm count was low but it was still possible for me to have kids. It felt like we were never going to have a child of our own. I was about to give up and look into the idea of adoption when my wife surprised me. She blindfolded me and brought me to a room full of clothes. She made me pick up each piece of clothing and guess who it was for. They were all small and I was confused as hell. That's when she told me she was pregnant. I was thrilled. I bought everything we needed for the baby, I took care of her every need. All I cared about was that she was my wife, and we were finally getting a product of our love. When she gave birth, I was the one holding her hand while she screamed and pushed. I was the picture-perfect husband. When our baby boy was born, we were ecstatic. But there was something that immediately caught our attention. He had dark skin. Like, really dark skin. It's impossible for him to be ours biologically given our backgrounds. We're both European white, our skin is so pasty that a bruise would stick out like a sore thumb. I thought we were happy that we finally got our dream of having a baby. But there's no way this baby is mine. It's all starting to make sense. Her best friend is a black man. I mean, if I look at the baby closely, I could see his nose. I confronted her and she begged me to believe me. She said there had to have been some sort of mix-up. I told her that her and her BBC can have their happy little family now. She was sobbing when I left but I refused to look at her at all. Her and her family have been blowing my phone up, begging me to give her a chance to explain. I love her but I can't have some black dude ruin my life forever. Turns out I'm just a jerk. After weeks of ignoring her and telling all of our friends that she was for the streets, she forced me to listen to her. We had Life 360 with each other, and I absolutely forget I had the app. She tracked me down to a nearby McDonald's and nearly dragged me away by my ear. I don't hit women so I just let her. She brought me to her car and I literally thought she was about to unalive me or make me watch her and her little BBC action. She pulled out some paperwork and shoved it in my face. It was a paternity test. Turns out she grabbed my toothbrush and hairs and compared it to the little black baby's DNA. It was a match. I could hear Maury screaming, "You are the father," in my ears. I was so embarrassed. I started to try to apologize to her but she just slapped me, then hugged me. It was the worst whiplash I've had in my life. She dragged me off to our house and my mom was there. It was like some sort of intervention. Turns out, I'm not completely pasty white. My mother admitted to cheating on my father years ago with some BBC dude. Turns out I'm an affair baby. My father had some suspicions for years but when I was born, he finally stopped bugging her about it. Why? She couldn't have cheated because I was white, just like him. I think I'm sort of medical mystery, the black gene skipped a generation. I turned out white and she got away with it. When she saw that I left because of my black baby, she contacted my wife and explained. My wife is just an innocent victim to all this. Now that I think of it, me and her black best friend do have a similar nose. Maybe his father is my father? I apologized to my wife and begged on my knees for her to forgive me. She said that as long as I use my new BBC status on her, she'll take me back. Maybe we'll have more little mixed babies. I have a lot of making up to do. I missed the first month of my son's life.